So we're going to talk leadership and we're going to talk integrity today. Marianne DeNovellis here with the 6-Figure Mastermind, why they need to be best friends in your business. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty on integrity. And first of all, before we even address integrity in leadership, let's talk about exactly what integrity really is. Here's what it means to me. Integrity means I do what I say I'm going to do. I am where I say I'm going to be. And I am the kind of person that I want to be like. How can I be the kind of person that I want to be like? It means I already am the person I aspire to be. Now, integrity, please don't confuse it with perfect. Please don't confuse integrity with perfect. And first of all, our whole society has this idea of what perfect is and that no one could ever be perfect. And maybe that's a video for another time. What does it mean to be perfect or perfectionism? I'm talking about integrity here. Integrity means I completely show up with what I say and what I want. I'm in integrity with me. I am in integrity with my goals. I'm in integrity with my ambitions. And I am behaving in a way that brings all of that into my world. Let's create a very clear picture for this, okay? Let's think about a structure, a building. A structure that doesn't have structural integrity, what happens? It collapses, right? It's structure without strong beams, without the core framework, without the solid inner workings, cannot stand. It will collapse. And they're very dangerous to walk into. They're very dangerous to go into. In fact, when that happens, think about the earthquakes that happen all over the world, maybe in California, for example. If there's a really bad earthquake that happens, their homes are destroyed. If their homes aren't destroyed, maybe there's some structural integrity issues and this is fascinating because the home looks fine from the outside unless you're a seismologist and you know that the plates have shifted underneath and you know what damage that can cause to the foundation and the inner workings of the home. And if you're a seismologist, you'll know, okay, I know where that home is in relation to the earthquake. I know what's happened to the substrate underneath that home. And I know that home is not structurally sound to go into, even though it may look like it is. So we're going to put warnings all the way around. What does it look like with a person? A person may wear a mask. They may on the outside look like a certain way or a certain behavior or a certain capacity or a certain characteristic, but do they have integrity? Does what is on the outside match what is on the inside? Does what is on the outside match what is on the inside? That's integrity for me. If the inside matches the outside, if you on stage is the same as you at home, that's integrity. So why is integrity so important in leadership? I want to address something that I have very intimate knowledge of, and it's something called the pedestal effect. The pedestal effect happens when you have someone in leadership or maybe a guru in your business or in someone else's business, someone that's in the spotlight a lot, someone that's perceived as a leader. The pedestal effect happens when that leader or their audience puts them up on a pedestal, meaning that they think they can do no wrong, or that they think they know everything, or whatever image of perfectionism is lifting them up above another person. The higher the pedestal that the audience member puts that person on, the harder the fall. You've heard the phrase, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. That's what happens with this pedestal effect. So if you have someone there's a difference between looking up to them and elevating them higher than anyone else. You can admire someone without putting them on a pedestal because you're okay with whatever flaws that they have. When you have them on the pedestal, they're statuesque. They're flawless. They're just like one of the statues in the Louvre in France where they're perfectly carved. Think of the Michael in Italy where it's on this pedestal or whatever it happens to be. You're lifted above someone else. And when that pedestal gets kicked out from under you, you crash and burn. When you think someone is so great that they can do no wrong, and then you suddenly find out that somewhere along the line they made a mistake, it can be so easy to kick that pedestal out from under them and walk all over them and leave them behind. So don't put yourself or anyone else on a pedestal. Yeah, we can admire other people. Yeah, we can totally respect them and say, wow, you have strengths that I don't. but you're not free of weakness, and that's okay. I'm okay with people having weaknesses and flaws. And that brings me to my third point. There's a difference between making mistakes and being out of integrity. And the difference is how you show up when you make a mistake. My integrity doesn't say that I'm perfect. If you have integrity that says you have to be perfect, I got news for you, it's not going to end well. My integrity doesn't say I have to be perfect. My integrity says I know how to stand up when I fall. I know how to fix it when I make a mistake. What is so important in leadership to have integrity is, as a leader, I don't know about you, but I've checked in with a lot of people on this planet. I haven't found anyone that's perfect, that has mastered this life thing. Everyone that I know is still trying to figure this thing out in one way or another. So it's okay to make mistakes. But how do you show up when you do? Do you try and hide? Do you try and back away and get rid of the responsibility for fixing the mistake? Or are you the kind of person that says, when I make a mistake, I own it and I fix it quickly? If you don't have integrity in leadership, your leadership will not last long. I can guarantee that. And if it does, the harder the crash when that happens. Integrity in leadership is what creates true leaders. Think of all of the great leaders that you've ever known. Think of Martin Luther King Jr., how he was true to the core on his message. Think about George Washington. He was a leader full of integrity. He wanted to make sure that his soldiers were taken care of. Think of all of the leaders who have ever had a following and how they show up. When they make mistakes, they own it. When they lead with integrity. Their message is the same on the battlefield or in their living room. When you can stay in integrity and you show up as the same person both outside and inside, when you can show up as the same person when you're in the limelight or when you're in the low light, that is integrity. And that creates the kind of person that people want to follow. Okay, so you've got your notes. I hope you were taking notes during that entire thing. And in fact, feel free to go and rewatch it and pull out a piece of paper and a pen and write down some things that are your next steps for your integrity and building your leadership company, because you know that that's the utmost importance with whatever you're doing. I look forward to hearing from you. So drop me a comment, ask me some questions, hit the subscribe button so we can stay connected, and I will see you tomorrow.